do I want to say that? I'm gonna say it early. Okay, forget it. I think Paul McCartney and all Beatles fans, please don't attack me because I'm a Beatles fan too. I think Paul McCartney has he's the best musically inclined Beatle. What's up, everyone? This is Tatum. I'm back with another episode of Off the Wall. For those that's new to my channel, Off the Wall is my segment where I like to go through my record collection and just talk about what those records mean to me and why they are in my collection to begin with. So today, as you can see already, today I'm going to be discussing one of my favorite albums, Paul McCartney, Ram. I guess you never knew, dear boy. Paul McCartney Ram came out, I think it was 71, 72, somewhere around there. This is Paul McCartney's second solo album. And to me, this is my favorite Paul McCartney album. So prepare for me fanning out during this whole thing. And if you're a Ram fan, you will be happy that I'm fanning out this much. But I think it's my favorite Paul McCartney solo album. Band on the Run is right under that, and I know you could consider that a Wings album, but I don't think it's any misses on this album. And it's funny because this album was like seriously like panned when it first dropped, even by Beatles members. It was panned. Like John Lennon and Ringo dissed the album. They kind of was, I forgot who said it, but one of them said like there's no good record on there. I think John said that. It sounded like some John was saying. And another one said that it's like strange music. One, that's just weird coming from any Beatle because you guys invented weird music. So when I look at the Beatles, their group efforts and solo work, their palette and range is so wide that I'm always open to see what they're gonna do. They're never in the box pretty much. So for a Beatle to say that about a Beatles work or any work is just crazy. And two, Ringo, you couldn't question Paul McCartney's pen or like you can't question Paul McCartney. Like you of all people can't question him. Like he literally gave you a career. I could tell in the time there was a lot of turmoil. Obviously they just broke up in the time, but it was a lot of hate going on. And even Paul McCartney has diss records on here, which I thought was funny. I thought that only existed in rap. This cover reminds me of like very 90s color palettes and things of that nature, even though it was released in the 70s. I'm not going to take up too much of your time. I'm going to run through the records, talk about some of the things I love about this. Well, I'm going to talk about everything I love about this album. I'm going to talk about everything I love about this album and just give it its recognition today. So, and I think it's 50 plus years since this record's been out, which is crazy. Like I said, this record was panned by critics and all of them seem to have a change of mind 20 years later or whatever time later. It just shows you, I think a lot of the fans and critics were distasteful of Paul McCartney's music at the time just for the fact I think they thought that he ruined the Beatles. And I can see that. Beatles dropped their last album. Your first solo album come out is like weird. It's like the classic solo lead singer want to go solo. And that wasn't even the case. What I really love about this album is for Paul McCartney album, it's stripped. Like even though the production is top notch, it's stripped. Like it's nowhere near where Sgt. Pepper would be. You know what I mean? Or Abbey Road. It's just very bare minimum. Like every instrument was just, it wasn't like no over the top things at this part or day in the life kind of thing here. It was like we're gonna use what we need and that's it. And we're gonna make it great. So to start off, the first song, Too Many People, straight diss record. When John Lennon took it as a straight diss record. And I can see that. Too many people preaching practices. Don't let them tell you what you want to be. That was your last mistake. You took your lucky break and broke it in two. Like that's just that's the illest diss. Because you know that stung John Lennon. That had to hit him right here. Like, you son of a... Because, don't want to say that. I'm going to say it early. Okay, forget it. I think Paul McCartney and all Beatles fans, please don't attack me because I'm a Beatles fan too. I think Paul McCartney he's the best musically inclined Beatle. His production's better. He knows how to write a perfect song. Not saying that John Lennon or George Harrison doesn't, but Paul McCartney gets pop music to a T. That's just me. I'm not going to elaborate on that. But to start with the to start with that opening, it drew me in immediately. And I remember listening to this album in 2009, 10, something like that. Blew my freaking mind. Blew my freaking mind. Three Legs, I think George Harrison and Ringo thought that record was about them. It probably is. Listening back to it, you could definitely hear the animosity and just hurt and betrayal that Paul McCartney felt from his brothers. I love Ramon. I love that. What is it? Ukulele. I would assume that calms my soul. Like if I'm ever feeling like riled up and like I need to calm down, I'm gonna put on Ramon. Give your heart to somebody soon, right away. Even his vocal choices on this record are so dope. He's like ad-libbing vocals towards the end and on a lot of songs on here, and it's like you could tell it was just more free. It just felt freer than any Paul McCartney I heard. And you know, I know Linda doesn't have the best vocals, but I think as a producer, Paul McCartney knows where she fits at, and it sounds great. Ramon, like I said, is one of those records that always it always puts me in a great mood, like a calming mood. Dear Boy, I think John Lennon said he thought that song was a diss as well, but Paul McCartney said that record was about Linda's ex-husband. Dear Boy, and I'm just realizing that, looking at it like that. My whole life, I thought it was speaking from Paul McCartney's side of just about himself. Like, dear boy, I bet you never know what you have found. I just thought he was talking about himself, but listening, reading, doing more research on it and hearing that, I was like, okay. Like, he's doing him and Linda are doing all the vocals. He's stacking, he's singing harmonies left and right. They're panning. It's like, how did critics not like this album? We're so sorry, Uncle Albert. But there was no one left at home, and I believe I'm gonna rain. What? That, and then his vocals when he goes, dun, 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 dun. To me, this also could sound like a Motown record. This could sound like a Smokey Robinson record. This is vocal tones that he's doing and how he's bringing the rain in on the record, and it just switched. He's doing different vocals. He's having fun. He's speaking in these accents that's not even his. The butter wouldn't melt, so I put it in a pie. All right. It's kind of rapping. My favorite part in there is also the bridge where he says, live a little, be a gypsy, get around. That's 3 different types of hits in one record. He could have made a record just off that bridge. If you were a Paul McCartney fan or a music fan and didn't like this album, let me know why. Smile Away is another dope record. Heart of the Country is a dope record. And that pretty much, Heart of the Country kind of sums up this whole album. I look high, I look low, I look everywhere I go, looking for a home in the heart of the country. You could tell he wanted a new beginning and peaceful life and just a family and just escape the life of Paul McCartney for a moment, you know? Monkberry Moon Delight, my favorite. And I know a lot of people don't like Monkberry Moon Delight, but I fucking love this song. I love his vocal performance. I love the production. I don't even know what the song's about, but I just love that record. It's like nothing I ever heard in my life. And then when that breakdown part and it gets so dramatic, so I sat with a knot in my stomach. Like the way he, my piano is boldly outspoken. The production on this record alone, Eat at Home, a great love record to me. Long Hair Lady, that's another beautiful song dedicated to his wife. That song is really, really beautiful. People had to just be hating. Long Hair Lady's dope. Ramon Reprise, you already know what that is. And then Backseat of My Car, it comes on so amazing. Speeding on the highway, well honey I want it my way. And then he like has a bravado, but listen to her daddy. Like he's doing all those vocals, and man, this album is fucking amazing, bro. Favorite songs on here: Monkberry Moon Delight, Dear Boy. I'm gonna go with Uncle Albert. Worst song: Three Legs. And I love that record too, but compared to everything else, Jesus Christ. Best line is just on Monkberry Moon Delight where he says, well, I know my banana is older than the rest, and my hair is a tango, Beretta. And when I leave, my pajamas to Billy Budapest, and I don't get the gist of your letter. That's my favorite line. I don't know why that line stands out to me so much, but every time I hear it with that production and the way he's singing it, it's just like, Jesus, this is just amazing. Let's wrap this up though. In closing, again, Paul McCartney Ram, best Paul McCartney album. I changed it from the beginning. It went from my favorite Paul McCartney album to the best Paul McCartney album. I really love this album, man. I really love this album. It's one of those records that when I put it on, it just makes me feel great. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel love. It just makes me feel great. So, and I don't get that out of a lot of albums. Like, just all the records make me feel good, but every record on here just it takes me into a trance of tranquility and calmness, and it's just free. Like, I think it feels free, it sounds free, and I'm glad he made this album. I'm glad that, and I know it had to kill him. Like, McCartney gets slammed, this gets slammed. It's like, God damn it, am I good? Am I really good, or was it the band? Like, it can have you like that, but I'm glad he's been around long enough to see how the tides change, and everybody loves Ram now, and it's considered one of the greatest albums of all time, especially one of the best Beatles post albums. I'm just glad I got this one in my collection. If you haven't listened to Ram before, just give it a listen, check it out. If you don't like it, that's cool, but when I listen to it, I'm telling you, it gives me like a calmness to it. So also, let me know your favorite 3 records on the Ram album. Let me know where Ram sits in the Paul McCartney discography, or let me know why you think it's a bad album. All is welcome. It's time for me to put this record back on my wall. As always, I'm Tatum. Peace.